Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. My adventure into the Enchanted Forest continues, and I am inviting you to come along and join me. I have my map and artifacts with me, and am coloring my way through the forest. My supplies have been made ready for this long adventure to seek the mystery in the castle at the center of the forest. If you are up for the adventure, grab your gear and let's begin this journey together. Today I am tackling one of the large trees near the center of the page. I mentioned this tree in my bonus video and how it reminded me of a certain type of tree, with the texture and lines running around it. And while it reminds me of that, I will not be staying true to life. And that tree was the rainbow eucalyptus. I will be incorporating some interesting colors and really working with the textures on this tree. I'm starting with sepia to figure out where I want my shadows and get an idea of how to work up this tree best. Shadows are going to be placed underneath any overhangs and on the left side of things. I am going with light layers like I normally do. I can play around with the shadows on some of the bulging areas of the trunk. If I add in a shadow that I find doesn't work properly, I can erase most of it back and try putting the shadow in a different spot. Part of how I lay in shadows is to block in the left side first in a single uniform gradient before coming back in and working up the details of the bulges and dips in the trunk more. The left side of the trunk will be in shadow no matter what. It is the bulges that I need to figure out when I get to each one. If I feel like I mess up the shadows in a small area, I just pull out my Tombow 1 eraser, which has a finer point to it. But if I feel I didn't do a large area correctly, I bring out a bigger eraser and remove what I can with it. I can then touch up the edges with the finer Tombow 1 that the larger eraser misses. The erasers are not perfect at removing the colors, but they don't have to be. When I add in more colors over top, the little bit left behind will be completely hidden. I continue my way down the trunk, working up the various strange elements as best I can. As I work on the trunk, ideas I had change into different and maybe better ideas. Just adding in shadows really helps make the trunk more realistic, which is fun to see. The limbs to the right are a little more challenging as I have to figure out where the shadow would be and still add shadows to the correct side of the various elements. In the end, I'm not sure anyone would notice if I put the shadows on the wrong side of the limbs. Since my light source is low in the sky, I likely should be adding more shadows to the top of the branch rather than on the bottom. Is anyone going to notice? Most likely not, but shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, time for color and to reveal my master plan. Or how this changed from a rainbow eucalyptus to something more. I'm coming in with my lighter red, the pale geranium lake, and all these little scale shapes on the tree are what made me change my mind. They reminded me of shingles on a whimsical roof, and from there I decided to turn the tree into a treehouse. This is one part of a repair made on the tree to patch a hole. I put in a light layer of the geranium lake over the whole scalloped shape. In fact, over the entire shingled area. There are 3 areas on the tree with this scallop pattern, and I treat them all the same. I use the green gold to add in some details at the bottom of the scallops. The lower section has an outline at the base, while the other 2 sections just have small gaps that I fill in with the green gold. And while I have the green gold, I add in more details and begin to decide on where I want it to go and the overall effect I think I want. I decided that the green gold will be a detail around windows, doors, and roofs. Speaking of doors, the little triangle wedge at the bottom of the tree would make a great door. So I fill it in with the geranium lake, just giving it a light layer. I'll add in a doorknob later, and that'll really seal the deal. With the cream, I fill in most of the openings that would lead to the interior of this treehouse, like the opening near the owl, the opening behind the bunch of leaves at the base, and several of the other smaller openings scattered around the tree. I'm just filling in the ones I want lit, as I will leave a few dark. So, to add more dimension to the roof tiles, I am coming in with my dark scarlet red, and I'm going to put in a heavier layer at the top of each tile and lighten the pressure in layers as I get closer to the edge. I want to leave a small section at the base untouched with the scarlet red so that only the lighter geranium red shows through as a highlight on the edge of the tile. I'm going to work up all the scallop shapes on all the roof sections in the same way. I can come back in and add details or fix things up later, but I want to get a base of color down so I have something to work with. Already this is so cute and so much better than what I had planned for this tree. I'm going to be stopping here for today. I hope you colored along with me and found this helpful. How did your little roof sections turn out? Aren't they just adorable? Thanks for joining in with me on this adventure through the Enchanted Forest. Let me know below or on social media if you liked this journey. I'd love to know what you think. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, MeWe, and Patreon. Patreon has a short write-up, my palettes, and a list of timestamps. These are available for everyone. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put in a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of equipment I like to use. If you use any of my affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and viewers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. Please like, share, and subscribe to help that happen. Until next time, happy coloring!